voluntary or sometimes involuntarily. Sometimes we are actually trying to make a face in a certain way that it should reflect a certain emotion, but sometimes it happens naturally. Facial expressions are a very important part of communication. Your face is the primary vehicle of expressing your emotions. It reveals both type of emotions, good or bad. It also reveals the intensity of those feelings, right? Our eyes, our mouth, all these parts of our faces, they collectively do express, right? In some case voluntary and in some case involuntary. For example, if you're talking to a person and that person is in a good mood, he would probably be smiling at you. Or maybe if he's not properly smiling, but his face would have a certain smiley touch to it, or it may not be a smile, it can be anything else, but from that face you can recognize if a certain person is angry or if a certain person is happy or sad or anything, right? So facial expression is a tool for non-verbal communication, and it plays a big role in communication, and this is why we mostly say that face-to-face live communication is the most effective part, because in face-to-face or live communication we are able to get these non-verbal communicational aspects as well, right? In normal communication, if you are writing someone, you may not be able to in fact you are never able to convey these non-verbal communications. For example, if you are sending a text to a friend, that text might be "come to my room," right? Now this is something you send a text to your friend. Now what are the emotions attached with this text? We cannot express them while writing words, right? But whenever we are communicating live, communicating face to face, it is more effective because the non-verbal part of communication is also attached to it. The next thing we have gestures and postures, the way we position and move our body, right? The way we position our body or the way we move our body, they actually constitute our gestures and postures, right? Now gestures and postures also tell a lot about whatever we are trying to deliver. Again, they might be voluntary or they might be involuntary, right? For example, waving a hand to someone, saying hello to someone through waving your hand. Now this is a gesture, right? Now this is a gesture and it actually means something. So in this case, you may not say hello to someone with your words, with your mouth. You just wave your hand and the other person understand that this person is saying hello to me, right? Waving a hand, there are many other gestures as well. We have different meanings assigned to different gestures. Now posture is also very important, that how you actually position your body. Now there are different ways of standing. There are some ways in which you are standing and people might assume that this person is in an aggressive mode, or maybe this person is in a defensive or passive mode, right? Slouching, leaning forward, walking fastly or walking slowly, right? And many other things. These are different signals. These are different ways of communicating that if a person is confident or if a person is friendly, if a person is hostile, if he is powerful or powerless, right? The same goes with, let's suppose, those people who are familiar with dogs. Now we know this about dogs, that whenever now if we are communicating with dogs, for example, now we do not understand their language obviously, so we have to solely rely over non-verbal communication. So when a dog is standing in front of you and he's tossing his tail here and there, so this is when we understand that now this dog is in a happy or a playful mood, right? There is another dog that you come across and his ears are pointed upwards and he is in a very solid stance. So from this thing we understand that this dog is in an aggressive mind, in an aggressive position, right? So gestures and postures, these are very important. They do tell a lot about whatever is going on. The next thing is vocal characteristics. Now the tone of your voice, the pitch of your voice, the pace of your voice, what kind of, how you stress different words, right? The amount of stress that you put on different words, and many other things. They are, these are the vocal characteristics of whenever we are trying to communicate. Now, the words itself, yes, they do have a role, but the tone to it also has hidden meanings inside it, and they are important to understand. They are important to understand different things. The tone of your voice, it can explain if you are being sarcastic. It can explain if you are being angry. It can explain if you are happy. It can explain if you are worried. It can explain if you are you are totally cool and relaxed, right? Voices, they carry both intentional and unintentional messages. Sometimes we intentionally do things and somehow we do not, but vocal characteristics are very important and they do play a role. In fact, vocal characteristics, they almost change the meaning of sentences, right? For example, I'll give you an example. For example, if I say, Mariha, what is the meaning of this? Now, this is a statement I have spoken. Now, if you rewind it and listen to it again, you will what feeling would you get from this statement is that someone is talking in a very normal and calm mode, and he is simply trying to ask the other person meaning of a certain sentence or a certain situation, right? But on the other hand, if I say, Gulelala, what is the meaning of this? Right? Now, these were the same words, but they had different vocal characteristics. Now, in the second part, if you recall them, if you rewind them, you would understand that a certain person is angry at someone, and somehow he is trying the other person to explain the situation to him, right? He is asking for an explanation of something that has went wrong, right? So, vocal characteristics, they have they're very important, and they do a great role in non-verbal communication. Now, in both these sentences, words were the same, but the vocal characteristics, the tone of these words were different, so they somehow changed the meaning of those words almost completely. Another thing happens that sometimes we are speaking, but we focus, we stress on some words, we change the tone of certain specific words. For example, if I say, what are you doing? Now this is a very plain and simple question. I am asking a certain person that what is he or she doing. Now in another sentence, if I say, what are you doing? Right? Now those were exactly the same words as the previous sentence, but if you rewind them and if you listen to this one carefully, now here in this sentence, I am not just randomly asking that what a certain person is doing, but I am asking specifically that what that person is doing, right? I'll try to explain it better. In this case, I am somehow trying to implicate that whatever that person is doing, it might be normal for any other person, it might be easy for any other person, but this specific person may not be capable of doing this job, or that specific person was not allowed in this situation. And again, I am focusing on the fact that what are you doing, right? If someone else was here, it would have been alright, but you are here. Now this is something that should not have been happened, right? So vocal characteristics, they are important and they do play a part. Another thing is personal appearances. Personal appearances are very important. How you dress, how you groom, how you carry yourself, all these things, they combine together and they create your personality. You must have heard the very famous statement which says, dress how you want to be treated, right? So if you are properly dressed, if you are properly groomed, you might be treated another way. If you are properly dressed, if you are properly groomed, it also says something about you. It also communicates something about, right? For example, if there is a presentation of some kind, and I invite one of you to the stage, and that person is properly groomed and properly dressed for that presentation. So when that person is coming towards the stage, so every one of us would get an idea that now this person is prepared and he means business. On the other hand, if I call someone to the stage for presentation and that person is not properly dressed, he's wearing some sloppy clothes, and he is not well groomed as well. So what would we assume from it? We would assume that this person, he may not be prepared. Maybe he was caught off guard and he was not expecting something, or maybe he is not taking the situation clearly, or anything else. So personal appearances, they are very important, and they do play a part on it. They do play a part on how you actually communicate non-verbally, right? A lot of things contribute to it. Your grooming, your clothing, maybe certain accessories you're using, maybe you have a certain tattoo or your hairstyle. Whatever you do, it says a lot about you, right? The next thing we have touch. Now touch is it is a very powerful tool, but it is a very sensitive tool. Touch also, it conveys the message of comfort. It conveys the message of trust, of reassurance, right? And touch is also very powerful, and it does have an impact over whenever you are trying to convey comfort or reassurance or trust to anyone. Different cultures have different meanings about it, but same goes for everything. These things are different from culture to culture, but touch is a sensitive subject. So whenever, if you are maybe you are planning to touch your employee, maybe tapping him on the back, or maybe doing anything else, so yes, we must be careful about the cultural differences as well. But speaking in general terms, touch has a great impact. For example, if you are you are part of a group and you have done a great job, and the manager or the captain of that group comes along, taps you on the back, so this means encouragement, this means appreciation, and it helps a lot. It has a great effect on you, right? And it also communicates something, right? Then we have time and space. Time and space, they are also used as ways of communication. For example, you have set a meeting, or maybe you are trying to attend a meeting, or maybe you are going to a social gathering, and what you do, that you appear in that meeting maybe half an hour late, or maybe you just try to reach there late, so that you are the last person to reach to that place or attend that certain meeting. So this is a way that maybe this is a way when people try to somehow prove the fact that they are superior from the other. Somehow they are trying to impose their superiority or their power over other people, right? If you are going to a place and you are very much on time, so in most cases it gives an idea, it gives a reflection of you, that maybe you are not powerful, or maybe you are not superior to other people. But again, it varies from people to people, it varies from culture to culture. Space is also very important. For example, if you are maintaining a certain space while communicating with someone, it means different things. Now getting close to someone, speaking to them while being very near to them, it also means something else. So time and space, they are very important. For example, when you are communicating with your friends, where you are not formal and you people trust each other, you people most of the times you communicate with each other closely. But for example, if you are meeting a person who might be a stranger, or who might be an elder, or there might be an element of respect in between, or there might be an element of formality between you people, so in those type of cases we mostly keep a distance, right? So time and space, they also tell a lot about what you're trying to communicate. The next thing is developing your business etiquette. Now etiquettes are very important. We have already mentioned it a few times, that etiquettes are very important. Now in a business setting, or maybe not in a business setting, even in our social lives, etiquettes do play a great role. It starts with appearances. Now, appearances are also a part of etiquettes, right? To be properly dressed, to be dressed according to the occasion. These are all things which are business etiquette. You must be properly dressed. You must be properly dressed. You must be dressed according to the occasion, right? You must be dressed how the occasion or how that particular situation actually demands, right? For example, if you are going to a business meeting, so people would expect you to not be there in your shorts and a t-shirt, right? But for example, if you are going to meet a few friends after work, maybe for a cup of tea or coffee, or maybe you are having some barbecue, or maybe you are doing a bonfire, or maybe you are just going for a walk. So in that type of situation, you are not expected to be wearing a suit, right? So etiquettes, the first element, appearances, they are very important. Now, another thing which is very important and it needs to be discussed is etiquette using your phone. While working, most of the time we need to use our phones to communicate. While using our phone, we need to consider a few things. The first one is be conscious of how your voice sounds. Voice plays a very important role in non-verbal communication, right? It says a lot about you. It says a lot about your organization. So always having a good, strong, firm voice, it works well, right? You should be conscious about your voice. You should not be speaking in voices which may be very high pitched, or may be very low pitched, maybe shrill voices, or maybe voice that somehow does not sound professional, right? So always be conscious about how your voice sounds. The next thing is be courteous when you call someone. Obviously, courtesy is very important. Whenever you are talking to someone, you should be following all the rules of courtesy, right? Convey a positive message. Convey a positive and professional attitude when you answer the phone. It is very important for your organization. If you call an organization and someone just very informally greets you, so it does not have a very good impact over a customer. So whenever you are on the phone, you should convey your message in a very positive and professional way, right? End calls with courtesy and clarity. Ending the call is very important. It should be courteous and it should be clear, right? Clarity means that whatever message you have conveyed, you're trying to convey to the customer or the other person on the phone, it should be clear, right? You should not leave things vague or ambiguous, right? And calls should be ended with courtesy, maybe saying words like take care, goodbye, or things like that. Then we have using your own voicemail features. Most of the times when we call someone, our calls are transferred to voicemails. A certain voice comes up which tells us to record our voicemails. Now, this voice, it is preferred to use your own voice for that, so that the other person have a bit of a personalized feeling. Be considerate when leaving voicemails. It might be a hectic job when you are receiving your voicemails, when you are trying to play them whenever you come back to your home or office. So when leaving voicemails, you should be considerate of a few things. The first one is that you should be very clear and concise. There is no need for very lengthy messages. They should be to the point and they must be concise. Whenever you are leaving a message, just also provide your name and number, because you should not assume that the other person have your contact or somehow know your number, right? Then we have business etiquettes while we are operating online. Nowadays we do spend a lot of time online, maybe on our business networks or on social media or things like that. There are a few things we need to take care of. The first one is avoid personal attacks. Nowadays, what is happening, that due to the online communities, the online community gives us anonymity if you want to opt for it. So when we have anonymity, we act in a very different way, right? Uh, if if we know that we are not anonymous in a certain place and people know who we act in a different way. But if we know that we have anonymity and we have distance and that person cannot directly reach to me at this time, so most of the times in these situations we act differently, right? So personal attacks and these type of things, they should not be done even if you have the anonymity factor with you, right? It is not professional and it is not nice. Stay focused on the original topic. In social media and in social communities online, we see that people, something is happening, but suddenly things go off the track and off the original topic, and the discussion is going, or a discussion is concluded somewhere else. Now this should not be happening. Never present opinions as facts. Another problem with the internet arena nowadays is that there is a lot of information. Each and every person is presenting some information, but very less, very limited amount of that information is actually correct, right? uh, Internet, it gives us the ability, or it gives us the capability of contributing to the online content, right? There is a lot of consumer generated content. So what is the problem with this is that most of the people, they present opinion as facts. Personal opinions are not facts, so they must not be presented as facts. Follow basic expectations of spellings, punctuation and capitalization. Obviously, whenever you are operating online, you are expected to be using correct spellings and punctuations and capitalizations, so it must be taken care of. Use virus protection. It is not nice to send a file to someone which is infected and in return infect their system as well. Always ask if it is a good time for a chat. Maybe that certain person is maybe he is busy somewhere else. Maybe it is not an office time and he may not be in a mood for a chat related to work, right? Watch your language and keep your emotions under control. This is a very important point, not only online but in our real lives as well. Language and emotions, they are very important, and once they are delivered we cannot take them back, so we should keep an eye on it. Avoid multitasking while instant messaging. Multitasking should be avoided or kept to minimal, because we may be confused and send some messages which are not intended for that receiver. Never assume privacy. Whenever we are operating online, we already know that whatever we write, whatever we see, we are leaving a footprint behind us, right? All of these things can be actually accessed by someone somewhere. So sharing sensitive information, it may be avoided, and you should never assume that we have complete privacy while we are operating online. Do not use the reply all option unless everyone will benefit from your reply. Most of the time it happens that with official emails, if an email is being sent to many people, so we click on reply all, and our reply actually goes to all of the people who were originally tagged in that message. Now this is not necessary to use, right? In fact, this should be discouraged. You should only reply to those people who are relevant to it, right? Who might be benefiting from your reply. Don't waste other people's time with sloppy and incomplete messages. That is right. Respect boundaries of virtual time and space. Now this is very important. Respecting the time. We must not waste the time of people with long stories and messages, right? We must not waste people's time with irrelevant messages. We must take care, or we must respect the timing with which we are actually trying to communicate someone. Maybe a person is sitting on the weekend with his family, or maybe he is just enjoying some time alone, and maybe he is surfing through his social media, so that time may not be relevant, appropriate for a work related issue to be discussed online. Respect the virtual space of other people. This is also very important. In fact, it has happened to me many times that if I upload a certain something on Facebook on my wall, and suddenly what happens that a certain person tags some other person in my post, and then they start commenting and chatting and speaking to each other on my wall, on my post. Now this is something which should not be happening. We should respect the virtual space and time of people. That is it for today. I hope to have a good question answer session in a live class. Quote of the day is in front of you. Read it, understand it, and try to implement it in your lives. Have a good day. Allah Hafiz.